Hello everyone, and welcome to video 2 of Let's Mod Armageddon Empires. In the previous video, we covered where the save files are located, where the data is located, what types of files we're dealing with, how they're organized. We went ahead and altered a few in-game cards, we created a new one, and we discovered that we can't just willy-nilly create skills on the fly. They have to be supported by the game. Today, we're going to go ahead and create a new Fate card, or tweak an existing one. We'll go ahead and see what's up with genetics and tech as well, and then I think that will about do it. So before I get any further, know that I've had no luck in having the AI use my decks. I can't figure out what I need to do to make that happen. It's not working, unfortunately. I tried dropping the decks in with the computer ones, and labeling it and flagging them as usable by the AI, but none of it's working. Unfortunately, this means that I can't make the AI use infantry, and I'm stuck with whatever decks that the game came with until I can root it out. So if I ever do figure it out, and I'm not done trying, I will make another video in this playlist to indicate as such. Also, down below, as before, in the description, there will be timestamps to indicate when I begin talking about certain things for this video as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and examine these data files a little more. When we left off, we had done a lot of deck building, or a lot of deck card tweaking, but we haven't seen anything that you can produce in the game, however. So let's give this a look right now, shall we? So in the game data directory, we have our game card objects. These will be the cards in which you produce in the game, and that the game itself has, that you can't add it to a deck. We have game facilities, game items, and game units. Game items are items that the game might attach to someone, I believe. Some of these things might be equipped to, I guess, a certain spot. Because I do see cluster bombs in here, there's AP chain guns, but I don't see the flamers in here. I do see a tactical nuke and a mini nuke, however. I think these might be related to maybe some of the Cult of the Wasteland, and or these items might be attached to some of the enemy units, or game units that we'd find in the game. Neutral armies, as it were. These are all the neutral armies right in here. We see Lord Humongous, he's one card. We can see the Duke. If it's a unit and the game itself possesses it, it'll be in here. Dragons, the Ogre itself, God Soldiers, I guess, which come out of an armory, Rad Scorpions, etc., etc. Rad Scorpions? Wait, what? That's it, Rad Scorpions? Rad Scorpions. I thought I saw Rad Scorpions for a second there. Is Scorpions in here? It'd be up, maybe. No. Okay. That was weird. I thought I saw Rad Scorpions sitting in here somewhere for half a second there. I'm not convinced they're not in here now. What was that? I'm pretty sure I saw them. Okay. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Okay, it was Rad Zombies probably, not Rad Scorpions. Alright, so Rad Zombies. Okay, it would have been cool if there were actually Rad Scorpions in here. Alright, anyway, so yeah, so those are all the game units, and these are all the game facilities. These are the special locations you can find in the game, like Vault 13, the Hive, the one Bandit Camp, etc., etc. All of them are located right in here. Next, we have the same 4 text files. One of these deals with the in-game cards you can produce with generals. For example, your resource collectors. This one deals with genetics. This one with tactic cards you can produce. And this one with technology cards you can produce. Let's look at each of these individually for the machines. So here we see you've got the resource collection for humans, resource collection for materials, energy, and tech. We also have something interesting. We have minefields. I'm unaware of any unit that can just make minefields, but, well, looks like there was at one point the attempt to make this occur. We've also got Strength 4 range 1 sensor nodes. I don't know what these are, but they look like they were facilities at some point, or a card you could just create. I do not believe these are related in any way to the upgrades of the CI3 facilities, just that these are other structures that I guess the game never introduced. But here they are. If I ever find out how to resurrect these and use them in the game, I'll definitely make a video about it. But right now, to my knowledge, I cannot do this. Here's all the different genetics options available to you as cards in-game. Everything from the Cyborg Enhancer to the Thrall Pods. Now, unlike our deck cards, we cannot create any additional genetics, technology, or fate cards. We're limited only to 6 of each. My attempts to add a 7th have failed miserably. The game just doesn't let you cycle through more than 6 of them. And I can't find the advanced training cards or an option or a user interface to show me how to fix that. As such, you're limited to 6 of these, whatever you decide to build. But you can manipulate these in the same way that we manipulated the other cards for our deck. For example, if we wanted to change Cyborg Enhancer so that it produced additional hit points as well as attack and defense, we could give that a shot by doing this. And then we can test it. Something to note about adjusting these cards, by the way, is while the deck cards are locked the moment you enter a game, these cards are only locked upon their construction and application. If we change these files, we can actually produce the changes that we've just done. Any existing Cyborg Enhancers we've applied, or any existing Cyborg Enhancers in our hand, will take on this characteristic. But any new ones that we produce can reflect any changes that we do in these files. This is very useful because it lets us test things. So I've loaded up our old Dead Walkers, the one Uber game where I was being launched at with tons of missiles in order to test some stuff. So here's Siberia. If I use Genetics 2, I can see the Cyborg Enhancer now adds 1 attack, 1 defense, and 1 hit points if I successfully create it. And then I assign it to one of my cyborgs. Voila! 1 attack, 1 defense, 1 hit point. Totally awesome. I would love to keep that as one of the upgrades. Right now, we'll remove it. You can change an enhancement to an attachment simply by changing a bunch of stuff like this. So notice how it says enhanced. So let's pause. Sorry about this. Let's go over this individually. So as before, we see that this is the first card available. We have its name, Cyborg Enhancer. We have the description for it, a card pick, the type of card it's recognized as, in this case an enhancement card, and we see that it's of type enhancement and a unit. If I want to change this to an attachment, well, I can just copy a playbook from the Neuro Dealer. And now it's an attachment. These are the resource costs it will take to actually produce the attachment, or if it was the old enhancement. It grants, well, no bonus attack, but actually if I want it to actually grant an attack, and I do in this case, I'm going to need to give it some value here. Let's give it 2. Or should it be 1? Well, let's grant it 2. This is the first time I'm trying this, actually. It can attach to whatever's inside your num cards, in this case, infantry, so I'll leave that alone. Let's give it 1 defense as well. No range, no speed, no resist, no command rate, no fate, cards allowed. We're going to leave that as void, it's not a facility, and the specials list. So let's see if we can give this attack 2, def 1. And let's see if we can create this card in the game. Yep. Loading the game. Sure hope this works. It's gonna be mighty embarrassing if it doesn't. Oh no. Game's struggling. Maybe this won't work? It might not work. I might have messed this up. Oh, okay. So it did load. let's try to make one of these. Cyber Enhancer. Looks like an infantry card to me now. It's the proper color. And I see attaches to infantry to attack 1 defense. Oh, and then we try to attach it to my cyborgs. And there we go. 2 attack, 1 defense. Added as an attachment now to cyborgs. See? It's a piece of cake to change genetics and technology as you wish. With all that said, though, we're now going to put it back to the way it was. So, void. This should be an enhancement. And we'll put that down here, too. And this would only be 1 attack, 1 defense. Okay, not bad, huh? So that's how you change things. You can replace these cards, of course, with different things altogether. Like, if I didn't want Cyborg Enhancer and I want another weapon, I could make another weapon and stick it up here. Just as long as I use whatever's inside card keys. Oh, I should be good, with some exceptions, and this is kind of interesting. So, remember how we discovered in card keys, if it's not in these files, you can't use it? Well, apparently that's only half true. In so much that sometimes it might be in this file and you still can't use it. Take the Cyborg Enhancer, for example. It adds 1 attack and 1 defense as a bonus. If I look here at enhancement, I can see that I should be able to use up to 3 hit points, up to 3 attack rating, up to 3 defense rating. However, when I attempted to do this to test things, I noticed that this doesn't seem to work. So if I change Cyborg Enhancer to be back to its enhancement, and I make it attack 3, defense 3, it won't work. So I suspect there's some... You remember how before, with these values, I indicated that this has to exist in the game? Well, it was my belief that these values here that you see, so like pound attack 3 here, relates to +3 attack, and that's, I thought, that was somewhere inside the game. But not all of these seem to be supported by the game itself. This would mean that you're going to have to do some experimentation and some testing before you go ahead and try to change something. So what is the result of this? Is that if I try to make this, I can see it says +3 attack, +3 defense. It's got the values here. And if I make it, and I try to use it, nothing happened. Instead, I have a bunch of end of files. So that's very fascinating to me. What this indicates to me is that this file hints as to what you probably can use, but you probably should also test it first. Now that said, I can't think of anything in the game that actually adds +3 to a unit's attack strength as an enhancement. I can't think of anything that does that. I don't even think there's any attachments that do that. I think +2 is the most something that you can do. So just keep that in mind as well when modding the game. That check the card keys to see if it's there, but also be aware that if the game files themselves don't have it in it, like this is, I don't know, I thought these were config files. I still believe they are, because we can adjust them and see the changes in game. But I think this helps the game look up things. But the game itself might not contain everything in the lookup table, as it were. And I can't add them to these files, because I don't know if I mentioned it, but these files appear to be Adobe Director files. I can't open them, and I don't have Adobe Director, so I'm unable to open them and take a peek at them. I don't even know if I had Adobe Director, if I could even open them. I don't know if this is something that's encrypted or what have you. But if maybe you could, I don't really know. I'm also not an artist, so I couldn't add any card picks, but I'd really be interested in taking a look at Game Cards CXT, just to see what could possibly be in there. Okay, so we've now covered tech and genetics. Technically, the technology cards work the exact same way as the genetics. We're limited to only 6 of them, and you can replace them with whatever you wish. You can put attachments in there, you can put enhancements in there, whatever you want to do. In this case, most of them are missiles, which are probably attack cards, aren't they? Yep. The XG-2 short-range missile is an attack missile. And it's got precision targeting, as you can see, collateral 46. That's interesting. I wonder what that means. 46? 40% chance to hit an enemy with a 6-die attack. That's probably what that means. And it's 2 points. 2 points to add it to your army. That's interesting. That must be a leftover from something else. I wonder if you actually could have made them before. Well, in any case, so technology works the same way as genetics. You can just manipulate these. You're limited to 6. It's pretty self-explanatory now when you go ahead and look at the files. Finally, we have tactic cards. These two work the same way as genetics and your tech, but obviously you can't attach these to anything. At least I don't believe you can. That'd be interesting if I could change them, but I'm not going to make that attempt. I think that might be a little too much modding even for me. As usual, you'll need to check to make sure your specials list is supported. I believe those are located in tactics. Right in here, you'll find all the things you need in order to manipulate your tactic cards. Oh, and it's a little bit buggy, by the way. I noticed that earlier my Fate sub 5 actually said subtract 3 Fate points to your opponent's Fate pool, so I went ahead and fixed it. Okay, yeah, but this is where you make all those changes as well. But that's interesting. I wonder why or how you can say how difficult the test is. It just occurred to me that I don't actually know how I can say thought requires you to roll 5 dice. I don't see a challenge here. I see challenge, but I don't know how that's defined. I really wonder where that's located now. If I find out later, I'll update this in a description or a comment to let you guys know. And I'll mention it in a game if I'm doing any modding. Yeah, I wonder if it's possible to lower the success threshold on these cards, or it might be baked into the game, such that each spot on the grid of what tactic card you can make relates to a very specific challenge number. Because those aren't even, now that I think about it, those weren't even in the genetics. I don't see a way to say this is only a difficulty of 1. There's nothing in here that says that. So that must be related to where it's positioned. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I can try that. Let's make the skin suit 1 card and the cyborg enhancer 4 card. And let's see if it's changed the difficulty threshold for those things. I'd be very curious about that. Well, in any case, everyone, we're just about done. We've covered all the cards in the game, and we can edit them, make new ones within certain limits for these game card objects, or tweak them. So the only question remains is, what do you want to see? You now hopefully have enough information that you can mod them yourself. Don't forget to back up your work in progress whenever you like what you've done. Make sure you save your current work and save that directory someplace else. No. Cyborg Enhancer is still here as a 3-die challenge, and Viral Homoculi is a 5-die, so that's not... I'm sorry, Skin Suit is still 6-die challenge. So I don't know where this is located, where the die challenge thresholds are located. Okay, I'll have to look for them later. Maybe it's related to challenge, or there's something hard-coded into the game that prevents me from lowering the threshold. Alright, but that about does it. Thank you for watching, everyone. So I think, yeah, we're gonna stop here. I'm gonna thank you guys very much for watching this Let's Mod. Hopefully it was helpful to you guys as well. If you have any questions, please, by all means, leave them here. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you figure out things that I can't figure out, please let me know. I'm very interested in figuring out where the advanced training are, or now the thresholds, and in possibly trying to resurrect whatever the heck these sensor nodes are. You know what? I'm gonna try this at least. That says sensor station on it. Does that even exist? I'm curious. So we're done now, everyone. But now I'm gonna try something a little fishy here. I'm gonna look at where's my facility. Where are you, facility? What are you using? You're using a picture. intelligence node. If I change this to sensor station... Oh! Oh, it's in the game. The picture's in the game. That's interesting. That'd be so neat if you could create them, and that way you would be able to watch what you're doing. But I have no idea how to make a hero be enabled to do that. It's probably something in the game. It's, again, baked into... when I say baked, I mean it's in these files. I'd have to be able to open them up to look at them and change them, and I can't do that here. So it's probably baked into these Adobe Director files. That'd be neat if I could figure out how to do that, though. Alright, well, okay, now I am done. Yep, so any questions, please feel free to leave them. I hope this was somewhat helpful, and now I'm going to make one more video for this playlist, at least I intend to, in which I'll discuss the things I'd like to change for the machines. I'm a bit torn between just improving them where I think they're weak, or changing their tech somewhat, and or their upgrades, like their facility upgrades, to enable them, to give them a boost where I feel they're lacking. But I don't know which I should do. And if you have any ideas of what I should do, please leave them in the comments, and we'll see about making it happen. And that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching, and take care. I'll see you possibly in the next video, and if not there, then I'll see you in the game proper when I begin playing this again, which will hopefully be maybe a week or two from now after I'm done tweaking things and testing things out. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Take care. Hey, everyone. Quick amendment to the end of the last video. Robert Barron, you asked some fantastic questions, and since I just uploaded part 1 but haven't uploaded this part, I wanted to get them answered on screen in case anyone else had similar questions, they would hear them answered. So, first, you asked a great question. You asked, can we increase the supply range of a Nexus, for example, or one of our generals? So, the supply range is defined somewhere where I don't have access to. I have a hunch it's defined probably in one of these, maybe the game main, or maybe something in here. I don't have access to that information, and so I can't edit the amount of supply you gain. For that matter, I can't even find where it's defined, because the Free Mutants, for example, have a supply range of 5, but everyone else has a supply range of 4. Those aren't any places that I've seen, so I'm unable to alter those. Next, you can't give a unit that has... You can't give a unit a hero ability, and you can't give a facility a hero ability either. What this means, because just in case I didn't cover it in my card keys, you see how this is attachment.txt, and this one's facility.txt? Well, what that means is that in here, these are all the legal things you can give to a facility, or things the game probably will support. But I can't give a facility, I think it's called Supply 1? No, it's not. Of course it's not. Where is this extra Supply 1 located in here? Here we go. So, Supply Range 1, Logistics Genius 1, for example, this is located in the hero text file. You can't add this to a facility. The game won't understand that because it's looking at the facility text when it tries to figure out what abilities are on that facility. So with that in mind, we can't give like Raider 1 or Logistics Genius to a facility card. We can't even give them to a unit because the units don't have Logistics Genius defined in them. This is an important thing to remember because some cards for some abilities like Espionage, those are defined inside the units here. Like if I was to look up Espionage, here we go. The units are able to do Espionage 1 through 10. So are the heroes, but that's because the ability is also defined here in the hero text. If it wasn't defined in the hero text, for example, heroes couldn't do Espionage either. So the ability's got to be in the card keys for the card category if that card type is able to use it. All right, I hope that makes sense. As for increasing the supply range of your heroes, you could give all your heroes like Raider 1 if you wanted to give all of them a slightly increased supply range, but you can't just flatly do it. So there's no file that says all heroes have a supply range of their faction supply plus 1. That doesn't exist. You'd have to go through and manually add Raider 1, or whatever that's supply 1, or extra range, range 1, I think. Is it called range 1? Range 1? Yeah. So, here. You'd have to add supply range bonus 1 to all of the heroes, which calls Raider 1. So, one more time, just because I know it was in the previous video. If I go to the machines, and I look at their generals here, and I look for Mortificus, Mortificus has supply range bonus 1. This is Raider 1 in-game. The game just refers to it as this outside the game. So I could add supply range bonus 1 to all of the other heroes here in the machines to give them all Raider 1, for example, which would technically increase their supply range. Then I'd probably increase Mortificus' supply range up to 2, just to keep him unique. Now, you also asked... Let's think. You asked... Where were the Cults of the Wastelands data? So, as far as I can tell, it's not in any of these files. I can't find any of those game cards defined anywhere in here. So, as with some other data, it must be located in these core files. And again, these are Adobe Director files. I don't have a means to open them here on my computer. They might also be located over here in this game data, but I don't think so. The coltsdata.dat is only 1 kilobyte in size, so I doubt it's in here. It's probably just baked into these, and we're stuck with what we got. There's nothing wrong with that, of course. Just in case Mr. Awesome Vic Davis ever watches this video. It's just that we can't edit it. We can't add our own types of menaces as extra cults. There's absolutely nothing we can do in that regard, unfortunately. Now, you also asked, can we add new random encounters, which is neutrals, like Casca's Rangers, or the Glitter Boys, or another type of ogre, for example? Well, you can add them, but I don't think you're able to get the computer to use them. I can't discover where the game links tiles to their special spawns. So, over here, one more time, this is the list of all the special units you can spawn in the game that the computer will spawn. So we've got card category objects for you, the AI, the deck cards, and we have game card objects. These are all the objects that the game itself can spawn. Again, genetics, tactics, tech. It also includes game facilities, game units, and game items. These are things that, for game facilities, again, these are the facility types you'll find, like the Jenga Tower or the Ogre Warbay. For units, it's the Ogre, or it would be, in this case you can see, the Duke. It's both heroes, and it's also the units they would have. Like, here's some rad zombies, and here's the Reborn, the guys with the machine guns, for example. You can change them, and I believe the game will accept your change for the next time you play. I haven't tested it yet, as a heads up, but I'm pretty sure you can alter these things. You could add new ones, but I don't know any way to get the game to spawn them. Like, you could add a new type of hero. Maybe you want to add, like, the Men in Black from the Matrix in here. But I can't figure out a way to get the game to spawn it, because I can't figure out where these are actually invoked. They're here, but again, one more time, just because I need to say it one more time, I can't get the game to realize it exists as an option and spawn it. I mean, the game facilities are here that coexist with all the special types of units, for the most part, but there's nothing in here that I can see that spawns it. Like, I see specials list, Ogre Armory. So actually, let's go take a look at that really quick on screen. I actually haven't checked this. So, Ogre Armory. Well, that sounds like a facility card. So, let's go to card keys and look at facility. Where is Armory? City Killer, Advanced Combat Tech, Zeus. Oh, okay, so it looks like we have that type of... Well, here we go. So, I can see here that the Advanced Combat Armory has a Advanced Combat Tech Armory, which is going to be the Mecha Laboratory, and it lets you deploy a Harbinger. But the problem is this: if you make a new card, like let's say, I don't know, you make an Uber mech made out of Legos, and you have an awesome picture for it. You can't get the game to spawn it though, because it doesn't know about spawn awesome Lego robot. All it's got is these things to find. Advanced Combat Mech Armory will call Mecha Lab, and when you right-click on it, it will deploy a Harbinger. There's no way for us to add deploy Lego robot in here, for example. So that was a really long way of answering your question, Robert Barron, and I'm so sorry. But in the end, you can't do it. You can tweak the existing ones, but you can't add new ones, not unless we're able to actually access the CXT files. And I myself, I'd be a little nervous doing that. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what the format is, anything of the sort. Maybe if you've got Adobe Director, you can open them up and edit them. I don't really know. So unfortunately, that's another no. The final question, though, is a yes. You also asked, can you give a unit another unit's ability, even if it's not in faction? And so you asked in particular about Psyblast, and I went ahead and gave Psyblast 7 to the Imperial Infantry to show this is possible. Because Psyblast is defined here in unit, you can give it to any unit in the game. I could give Glitter Surface to the Imperial Infantry. I could give them Resource Collection. You can give them Vengeance. You can do anything you want as long as it's defined in here. Keep that in mind as well, although I know you didn't ask the question, but Psyblast only has Psyblast 7. There's no weaker version of it. So for example, I thought that was really neat, this question, and immediately I was like, oh, that'd be neat to make like a group of psionics for the humans. But there's only Psyblast 7. You could still make psionics, but they'd have to have Psyblast 7 as their ability. So there you have it. Okay, so hopefully that answers your questions. I'm going to go ahead and append this to the end of the last video, and there'll be a link to it as well inside the stuff. If I get any more questions on video 2, I can make a... Well, I can make a third video in which I just answer those questions as well. Please feel free to ask anything else, and if anything's been unclear, please let me know, and I'll try to clarify it as best I can. Alright, thank you again, guys. I'll see you soon.